Despite the Quest 3 costing at least $500, the stock head strap is an awful way to experience the headset. It's incredibly finicky to put on, and the plastic fasteners at the back dig into the back of your head. Now when it comes to a VR headset, comfort is pretty much subjective, and there are going to be a few of you out there who do like the stock head strap, and more power to you, but I think for the majority of us, we'll be seeking out other alternatives. Meta's official solutions, the Elite Strap and Battery Strap, are solid upgrades on the stock head strap, but are very expensive, coming in at $70 and $130 disrespectively. No, seriously, I don't know why the 512GB Meta Quest 3 did not come pre-packaged with an Elite Strap. That would be much better than the 6-month Quest Plus subscription, since everyone buying that storage are probably going to be the power users who might own most, if not all, of those games that will be out on the subscription to begin with. Due to the expense, most of us will look at third-party alternatives, and if you go by what the internet says, the Bobo VR M3 is the style of choice. Demand for this strap has been so high that it's near impossible to get one for launch. However, you can now buy it directly on their website. Now, I've never owned a Bobo VR for the Quest 2. I know it was well regarded on that, so I was super excited to get my hands on the hot swappable batteries, to try out the Halo strap, which I am a big fan of on the PlayStation VR and also on the Quest Pro. But this was a far from perfect option. Honestly, I could only recommend this to a certain type of VR user. Not only did it damage my Quest, but it's also poorly manufactured, with a straight copy and paste from the Quest 2 version. Seriously, it's so copy and paste that the battery pack included has the Quest 2 manual, and therefore they're not powerful enough to charge the Quest 3 whilst in use. And that's the least of its problems. Let's start off with a quick unboxing here. Inside the package, the head strap comes in two parts. The back support simply clips on and you're good to go. If you find the PU leather is too slippery, they included a honeycomb pad for extra grip, which is a neat touch. You also get one 5200 mAh battery and a charging cable. Now you can buy more batteries and hot swap them when you need to, and you can buy them on your website for around $40. However, if you did have the Quest 2 version, then those batteries will work fine. Well, kind of fine. We'll get into the issues in a second. Now, installing this head strap looked easy enough, but I did run into a few problems. To start, you slide the stiff grey arms over the Quest speaker arms. Be careful at which angle you do this, because I ended up ripping the plastic on my Quest 3, which was very annoying. In fact, each time I installed this and took it off, it ended up ripping plastic. So proceed with caution and don't try and force it. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be lucky enough to not rip any plastic off the headset. That wasn't the only problem. The front Velcro strap, which is supposed to attach to the headset via the latch, is almost impossible to put on. For starters, I think that the Velcro is on the wrong side, since it wants me to thread the needle from the top rather than the bottom like every other head strap out there. It ends up catching on the headset and it doesn't give enough bend around the latch. The other problem is that it's so short. There's not a lot of give, which makes it harder to get on. Now, what I did find, if you have the facial cover, you can get away without needing to put this Velcro strap on. However, if you want to rock it Quest Pro style and remove that facial cover altogether, you have to put it on. Otherwise, the headset is way too flimsy and can end up out of place on your head, causing discomfort. Now, speaking of discomfort, if you're not used to Halo straps on a Quest before, then you are going to find it really uncomfortable at first, and this is probably because of the way you're wearing it. When I originally put on the headset, I put it on similar to like the Elite strap, and it caused immediate discomfort on the forehead. In fact, I couldn't wear it more than 5 minutes without feeling too much pressure on the top of my head. So I tweeted about this, and the good people of the internet told me how wrong I was wearing this head strap to begin with. So this is how you wear it the proper way. You have to make sure that the back of the strap is at the lowest part of your head, and the front is resting at the top of your forehead or hairline. Now, once you have it on correctly, it's pretty comfortable, and the fact that I don't have my face pressed against this improved yet disappointing facial cover is a massive plus. What I did notice though is that you have to use the battery even if it's depleted. The reason why is because the battery at the back acts as a counterweight for the whole head strap. Without this, the head strap becomes very front heavy and you will by all means get a headache from the top of your forehead. So it might be comfy, but that doesn't mean it's perfect for all VR playstyles. In the end of the day, it's bulky, it's heavy, which is fine for more stationary, standing games, but if you're moving a lot, then you are going to start feeling every little bit of that bulk. Plus, the headset isn't very stable on the front. It does wobble quite a lot, so I would avoid it for games like Assassin's Creed when you are using parkour or Beat Saber as well, because it's just going to wobble all over the place, and if you have a big nose like me, it is going to smack your nose every single time. So overall, the comfort is solid, albeit bulky, but some people buy this for the battery improvements, to improve that Quest battery life from 2 to 3 hours to maybe much more, so they can get through at least a full Demeo session, for example. So let's start off with the positives. In practice, the hop swappable batteries are amazing. It's great that you can just take one off and add another one really quickly. You don't have to be stuck with the same battery and let that charge first. You know, if you have 4, 5, or 6 one of these batteries, you could go on for quite a long time, in theory. Okay, so the hot swappable batteries are great. So how does the batteries work in practice? And here lies the most fundamental issue of this whole strap. So Bobo VR haven't actually updated the batteries from the Quest 2 version, and the Quest 3 draws a lot more power than the Quest 2, and therefore the batteries just don't keep up, which is just really lazy. I wish they just held off on the strap until they released new batteries which were compatible. Instead, it's a very lazy effort. They've just made it fit for the Quest 3 and shipped it out. Now, I did a few tests on this with Immersed VR, where I had multiple monitors up on screen. I managed to get 1.2 hours extra battery, which basically slowed my Quest 3 battery from 70% to 63%. I had similar results when playing a light game like Cubism. It got around an hour or so as well. Similar kind of battery discharge, but the problem was when you're playing a heavy game. So I tried it with Assassin's Creed, and I barely made 40 minutes extra of battery with this Bobo strap, which is nothing, to be honest. If you're buying a battery strap, you know, you want it to last at least an hour, maybe 2 hours extra for your playthrough without having to swap it out. Now, for what I've researched, slowing down the Quest 3 battery isn't exactly bad for the battery. It just means that Bobo VR were just simply too lazy to update them. So don't worry about affecting your Quest. However, there is one more thing about the battery which was really annoying, is that there was a hissing sound, which I'll try and show you in this clip right now. And I don't know how to fix that. Is it the battery getting overworked? That's why you can kind of hear the sound of the current coming out. I don't know. It just filled me with no confidence whatsoever that I wanted to charge my expensive Quest 3 with this aftermarket poor battery. So don't buy this head strap for the battery, because it is useless. It is really useless, and I would not trust that hissing sound whatsoever. Battery aside, when I got my Quest Pro for the first time, I was in love with the open-ended design because it allowed a lot of airflow to your eyes, which means I could play VR for much longer. And I was excited to try this without the facial strap altogether to kind of get a similar effect. Well, it almost worked, almost. Remember that small top strap that was impossible to get on? Yeah, well, you have to at least thread this through to make sure that the head strap is secure and a good distance away from your face, making it easy to put on. Of course, on my model, the Velcro is the wrong way, so I couldn't actually fasten it properly, but it was good enough. Now, there's a gap at the top of the headset, which theoretically could let a lot of light bleed in, but in my testing, I found that you don't notice any light coming down whatsoever. It doesn't affect the lenses at all. This is such an ideal setup for working in Immersed, playing stationary games like Chess Club, or better yet, if you're a developer, you can simply just pop it up and pop it down, which is very useful to have. So I've been using it exclusively open-ended for the last 2 weeks, and I actually did complete the 7th Guest VR that way, which I definitely recommend. But the problem is now, if you remember I said about the bulkiness and the steadiness of the headset is quite wobbly, imagine that, but imagine it tenfold when it's not got a facial cover on. First, the headset wobbles all over the place. If you look up, it is smacking you straight on the face. And if you look left, look right really quickly, it's gonna jar all around your face. So definitely do not recommend it for anything fast-paced or anything like that. Overall, it's not quite the sleek style the Quest Pro had, but to be honest, it's the only choice out there. There's nothing that's halo strapped with the Bobo VR, and that kind of brings me to my closing thoughts. Bobo VR are very lucky. They're very lucky that they don't have any competitor in this market for a halo strap for Quest 3. The M3 is a sloppy cut and paste from the M2 model, which boasts old batteries that can't keep up with the Quest 3. Its bulky, flimsy design can cause damage to your Quest, and it may not even fit properly to begin with. It is comfortable once you learn how to wear it correctly, but honestly I'd only recommend this if you're absolutely in love with Halo straps and there's no other alternative, or maybe you are a developer and you do want that flick up kind of option. But to be fair, there are some facial covers that can do that as well. So unfortunately, because Bobo VR are the only Halo strap out there, it's a must buy if you like Halo straps. But if there was another alternative, this is like a 5 out of 10 at best, and I would not recommend it for battery power. I would not recommend it for comfort. I would not recommend it for just build quality as well. Like, the list can go on throughout this video if you listen to, and it's just very disappointing after all the hype from the M2 and how beloved it was for the Quest 2. So now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments below if you're a Halo strap sucker and this is your only option, so you'll be picking it up. Or were you in it for the batteries and kind of disappointed that the batteries don't let up? Now, you do have other third-party alternatives. You've got the Zyber straps that are coming out with a battery strap soon. I know Kiwi Designer also coming out with their own battery strap. Meta have their official one, which also has had problems, and coming in at that high price point, I would probably avoid for now, but I'm going to buy them anyway and just test them for the channel so you can see what the comparisons are. But right now, this is an absolute avoid unless you absolutely love Halo straps. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks everyone for listening and watching, and I will catch you later.